Ever wonder who your bank really banks with? Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a question that might surprise you. Who does your bank with? Think about it. You trust your bank to hold your hard-earned cash, your savings, maybe even your investments. But have you ever considered where that money goes? Does it just sit in a giant vault somewhere? Not quite. Banks, just like any other business, need to manage their own finances. They need a safe and secure place to put their excess reserves, the money they don't need readily available to cover customer withdrawals. So, where do they turn? Here's where things get interesting. There are a couple of main players in this game. Central banks, the big kahunas of the financial world. Central banks are like the ultimate piggy banks for commercial banks. They set interest rates, regulate the money supply, and, you guessed it, hold deposits from commercial banks. Think of it as the bank for banks. In Nigeria, that would be the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN. Correspondent banks. These are like middlemen in the financial world. They allow banks to conduct business across borders. For instance, if you use your debit card to make a purchase overseas, your bank might rely on a correspondent bank in that country to process the transaction. Correspondent banks can also hold deposits for other banks, offering them access to foreign currency and international financial services. Now, depending on the size and needs of your bank, they might utilize one or both of these options. Here's a breakdown. Smaller banks. For smaller banks, relying on the central bank is a safe and secure way to manage their reserves. The CBN offers stability and minimizes risk. They might also use correspondent banks for specific international services they don't provide themselves. Larger banks. Bigger banks often have more complex financial needs. They might hold some reserves with the central bank, but they'll also likely have correspondent banking relationships with other major banks around the world. This gives them access to a wider range of financial instruments and services. But why should you care about who your bank banks with? Here's the thing. Financial security. The health of the institutions holding your bank's reserves can impact your own financial security. A strong central bank and reputable correspondent banks provide a safety net for your money. Interest rates. The relationship between your bank and other financial institutions can influence the interest rates you receive on your savings accounts and loans. Banks that have access to a wider range of financial tools might be able to offer more competitive rates. International transactions. If you travel frequently or do business overseas, knowing who your bank partners with can be crucial. A strong correspondent banking network can ensure smooth and efficient international transactions. Finding out who your bank partners with. Unfortunately, there's no one-size-fits-all answer to this question. Different banks have different partnerships. However, there are a few ways you can find out more. Bank website. Many banks disclose their correspondent banking relationships on their websites, usually in their corporate responsibility or investor relations sections. Annual report. A bank's annual report might also mention their key correspondent banking partnerships. Contact your bank. If you can't find the information online, you can always contact your bank directly and ask them about their correspondent banking relationships. Remember, while the inner workings of the financial system might seem complex, understanding who your bank banks with can give you valuable insight into the overall security and efficiency of your finances. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.